Hello and welcome to a Christmas edition of Mike and Dave's Hi-Fi Riff. I'm Mike Evans.
And I'm David Price.
And Merry Christmas, mate. Brilliant.
Absolutely.
It's been a good year,
Cheers.
hasn't it? It's been a really good year. Cheers, absolutely.
Happy Christmas, everybody.
Happy Christmas, Riff Raff.
Absolutely.
Yes. No, it's been a cracking year. We've had some ups and some ups, really. We've had some interesting reviews, which we'll chat about. Some great products come through. And some good times as well. Both in here and down the Hi-Fi pub.
Yes.
Having a few beers. Funny, that's a common denominator in our lives here, isn't there? And 'twas always thus.
Yes, and reading the comments.
Reading the comments.
Which have been quite amusing.
We'll do a riff on that.
We will.
We'll do a riff on that. Yep. Some of the comments have just been absolutely fantastic.
Yes. Not wholly complimentary, I think.
The best ones are the ones which weren't, to be fair. And so we'll do that. We'll do a special, maybe release one in the new year on the comments. So yes, excellent. Can I start? Can I just tell you about one of my highlights from the year? Actually happened last week.
Right.
It was a real belter, and I've got a show and tell here.
Okay.
So this is kind of what it's all about.
Mike, you've got Neil Young's autobiography.
I have not got Neil Young's autobiography at all. Neil Young it doesn't look anything like that. So
is that a washing machine behind him?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's got to be Rush then, hasn't it?
So this is Geddy Lee's autobiography called My Effing Life.
Yeah.
And Geddy has been doing what can I say? Like a book reading, like a book reading tour. Just ignore him. Ignore him. Right. He's been drinking, and he did this sort of book reading tour. It started off in America, Canada, and he's come over to the UK. And I managed to go and see him at Portsmouth.
Yes.
Which was all good, and I was looking forward to it. And he has a guest interviewer coming along, and obviously it's a guest interview as a surprise. And he's had some quite interesting people. I think one of the ones he did was David Baddiel.
Yeah.
And anyway, some all good stuff there. So who should be the guest interviewer turn up at Portsmouth? None other than Mr. Alex Lifeson. And I nearly died.
Who's he
I
then?
thought I was going to have a heart attack. So I've got the last two surviving members of Rush in front of me on the stage at Portsmouth.
Yeah.
And
copying our format.
And it's exactly where I was going with this. Exactly where I was going. So ironically, their set was two sofas. And they just sit and chat to each other like mates.
Two kind of, slightly middle-aged kind of superstar geniuses on the sofa.
Well, that's us. And then you had Geddy and Alex.
I was talking about Geddy and Alex, Mike.
So it was amazing. So what I might say is I'm very thrilled that one of my highlights of the year, just cutting to the chase, is that the Geddy and Alex from Rush are copying Mike and Dave's Hi-Fi, which clearly means they must watch every week. They must be avid fans.
Well, we have got 570,000 views.
We have,
I think.
Yeah.
So, and that's including Geddy and Alex, I would imagine. They're probably watching most of them.
I'm a little bit disappointed because they would have obviously recognised me.
Yes.
A bit disappointed that they didn't stop and sign my book on their way out in their van as they left the gig. Because I did wait for them and said hello to wave at the van, but they must have been looking the other way. That's all I can think. So
well, they should have given their book to you to sign for them.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yes.
So
yes, a signed copy of of the Hi-Fi Riff logo or something.
Absolutely.
If we had something to sign, that would be quite cool, wouldn't it? Which we could give away.
Your David Saul record?
Yes, which I don't have. And speaking of giveaways, I bought you a present because it's Christmas. I have. Would you like it now?
I would love it. Thank you.
Okay, here we are. Look at this. It's best things come in small packages.
Yes. Let's have a look at this.
There we are. Look at that. Have a go at that. It's a bit like playing Pass the Parcel. This when we were kids.
So look, that's quality wrapping, viewers. Look at that.
Don't look too closely at the wrapping, please.
It's got cheeses and wine on it.
Look, it's don't knock it. You've got a present, for God's sake.
Excellent.
Don't be picky about these things.
All right. Well, yeah, that's true. It's not very often Mike ever gives me a present.
No, but when I do, they're normally quality. Would you like to explain to some of our lovely riffraff what beautiful things I've bought you in the past?
I can't remember any of them.
Actually,
I can remember one.
Oh, good.
And that, That's the calculator that's also a lighter.
That's the coolest present ever, isn't it?
Yes.
That's really cool.
Everything else, all the other crap, I totally forgive you for.
I got your lovely vintage Thunderbirds book recently.
Oh, you did.
Well.
You did.
See? This is what I have to put up.
I forgot about that.
I'll have it back then, in that case.
So, wow, Mike, what could this be on this lovely festive Christmas day?
It's upside down.
It's a stylus timer.
There we are.
Wow.
Do you know what it does?
It says it's the turntable odometer.
It is. That's exactly what it is. It's an odometer for your turntable, or for your cartridge, to be more precise.
Why would you want that?
Well,
then?
you wouldn't really, because generally speaking, people give you cartridges to review, so you're never sort of coming to the end of their shelf life. But normal people like me, who desperately need a new cartridge, hint hint, they have to keep an eye on their 10,000 hours.
Okay.
So, because that's about the shelf life of a cartridge, and this is the way you do it.
Wow.
So here we are. Yeah.
I'm going to take it out of the packaging, viewers.
Look at that.
So, wow, that's amazing.
Don't take the
Don't
take the protective wrapper off in case you sell it on eBay.
Start, stop, and reset. So every time I play my record down cue it, then I have to rush to switch this on, and then when I've finished, I have to switch it off.
That's it. Yeah,
Mike, that is a really sad present.
What? It's fantastic.
Who the hell would mess around with this sort of nonsense?
I would.
Well, well, quite, absolutely. So
you see how ungrateful he is. I mean,
come on. I mean, look, come on, viewers, back me up here.
All right.
So why? I mean, that's Oh wow, that was an amazing. My first pressing of Dark Side of the Moon. That's incredible. I'm just on a high having listened to that. Hang on, I'll just switch off my turntable odometer.
Do you have one of these? What do you do now? But did you before?
No.
So this is probably the only piece of hi-fi you've never owned. I mean, do you understand how hard that is for me to find a piece of hi-fi that you've never owned?
All right.
It's just,
I'll let you off.
Okay. Well,
actually, you could use it for cooking pizzas, couldn't you? So, that is actually. Oh, thanks, Mike. Cheers.
Yes, good.
So that's actually a very good.
You can count your lifetime's supply of pizza with.
Well,
okay.
no, I quite like
well, look,
it
if
now.
you're going to slag my present off, at least I bought you something.
Well, I bought you something.
Oh, have you? Oh, shut up then.
Yeah. So, and here it is.
And having told me how bad my present is, to you, I'm expecting something
beautifully wrapped.
It's quite big.
Go. So that's
it's quite
this
big.
is the care I take with the presentation of my.
Oh, I can almost guess what it is. Look at that.
Wow.
And can I have a stab at the size? I reckon it's exactly 12 inches by 12 inches.
I think you might just be right there.
Yes.
It's a flat Technics SL10 that got run over by a tank.
That would be brilliant. The Technics SL10 sandwich maker.
Yeah. So there we go.
It is vinyl.
It is vinyl.
Vinyl.
It is.
Okay. Sorry if that's loud in the mic. You're kidding. You've bought me Father Abraham in Smurfland.
Yes, Michael Evans. I found your original Smurf LP from 1978 from behind the sofa of my parents' house, and I'm giving it back to you now.
It's also available on cassette. My gosh, Smurf R1 is the record code. Oh, good grief!
Yeah.
The only decent song he did was "Trapped."
That's Colonel Abraham's, not Father Abraham. God, dearie me.
Brilliant.
Yes. So it's a festive. It's a festive theme, Mike. I know you're trying to expand your vinyl horizons.
There's a song on here called "Do Smurfs Cry?" Well, only when they play their album is the answer to that. The Magic Flute Smurf, Dippity Day. Why? That's a great song title and question. And the Smurf song, Smurfing Beer. Well, that sounds a bit more like it. Okay.
Well, I mean, the Dutch make great beer. So,
yes,
Holtz and Hoegaarden and all that stuff.
They were definitely drinking some of it when they made this album. I mean, my gosh.
Yes. Well,
what can I say?
I hope when I finally get time to put a cartridge in your LP12,
Yes.
you'll enjoy playing that record.
This is an excuse, isn't it, for you to do that? I'm sure. So excellent. Well, thank you very much. What can I say?
Yes. Well,
I'll put it with all of your other presents, which I've kept over the years, including How to Plant Petunias by Arthur Negus.
Arthur Dent.
Yes, Arthur Dent. Yeah. Let's talk about our products of the year.
Yes.
Let's move swiftly on. We'll talk about our products of the year. Because we're talking about all good things this year, including our presents, I guess.
Well, no, I like that because I can use that as for timing for cooker. I'm not sad enough to do it with a freaking stylus.
I'm sure I'll think of a reason why I like the Smurf album at some point as well. None springs to mind immediately. Wow. So let's do sort of not in any particular order, shall we? What are your favourite sort of riffs and products we've had this year?
So we wanted to say, by the way, that we're not doing a kind of product of the year. Kind of, we tell you the best DAC in this sector or that sector, or the best sort of powered speaker.
No.
We're basically just going over our old riffs from the last year, and just kind of talking about the ones that we liked, and that's of course that the products are very important, but it's also just a sense of how much we enjoyed using them and testing them and all the rest of it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
But what we're going to mention today are definitely, we think, great products. They're certainly the kind of some of the highlights, I think, in terms of the products. So,
absolutely.
Yes.
Go on, kick off then. Hit me with the first one.
Well, I mean, for me, I think one of the best value new products of the year was the Musical Fidelity A1. The integrated.
And that got some really good comments on Riff, and some really good feedback. I think a lot of people from our era were really pleased to see it re-released.
Yep.
Especially really keeping its authenticity.
Yeah.
And it also provided the funniest moment of the year on Riff. And if you haven't seen the Riff, it's the only one we've ever done a blooper reel of, which comes after all of the end music. Where David's wearing oven gloves because the thing got so hot, and it is
health and safety, Mike.
Priceless.
Health and safety.
I could not stop laughing. It was just brilliant.
Haven't you seen a hi-fi reviewer wearing oven gloves when handling a hot Musical Fidelity?
I have now. Anyway, I'm going to move on. So one of my favourite riffs this year was the Sugden Masterclass.
Yep.
And again, a little bit retro because that had a valve output stage.
No.
That didn't it? Sorry.
You've been on the. How much have you had of that?
I've had way too much of this.
It's only had about that much.
Yes.
No, so
I'm so sorry it wasn't.
You're thinking of the synthesis
Roma with
which had the valve output stage, which was a great thing. But
it was lovely.
The Masterclass DAC has the very old Philips chipset, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which is knocking on for 30 years old or something like that.
Yeah, and a lovely way they've application of it.
Yeah,
sounds
absolutely.
Amazing. Sounds really sweet.
It was a TDA 1543.
Yeah,
which is kind of early 90s vintage.
Yeah,
and 16-bit 4 times oversampling and very unusual sound, because today almost every single DAC you can buy is some form of sort of a bit stream or whatever you want to call it these days.
Yes.
It's not. It's kind of variations on that theme. I think it is fair to say.
Sure.
And this has a completely different architecture.
And it was gorgeous.
Yeah. So it's not only was
lovely. We really enjoyed it. We thought it was fantastic.
The DAC itself is very unusual and gave a sort of kind of very vivid and kind of dramatic sound.
Yeah.
But obviously, Sugden being Sugden, they're very good at amplification side. And its kind of analog output stage is fantastic as well.
Yeah,
so,
really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Really loved that. Yeah. Very impressed with that. Didn't cope with all the high res stuff and all of those things. It was very much a down to earth.
Yeah.
This just sounds great, DAC.
It's basically if you're kind of CD centered, then it's absolutely fine. But it's not really high. It's not a high res capable DAC in any kind of modern sense of the word.
But who cares when it sounds that good?
Yeah. I mean, and 16-bit 44 kilohertz can sound extremely good. I think.
Agreed. And on that note, we'll go on to our next product, because I'm conscious that if we're not too careful when we're doing our review here, we could still be here on Boxing Day. We want to try and keep it to a sensible time, not like last Christmas's one, which went on for days.
2 hours.
Yes, I think it was. Yes, yeah. So go on. What's
So my next product, or riff that I really enjoyed, was the Realistic Minimus 7 speaker.
Yeah, they were really cool, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were really cool. And in fact, you cost me money on that riff.
Yes.
Because I had to go and buy a pair.
Well, you ended up buying these, didn't you?
Oh, no, I bought those as well.
So, right.
I've got a brand new box pair of the Minimus 7, which cost me, I think, 35 quid from a lovely person from eBay.
Okay.
I'm actually going to put them in my daughter's bedroom. She doesn't know it yet. And obviously, that's her Christmas present. So she doesn't realise how good how lucky she is.
Well, these Amstrads are their kind of brother by another mother. They're basically the same.
Yeah, they're
thing,
gorgeous.
very similar, but
amazing.
The Realistics, don't have the benefit of the Amstrad badge.
No.
Which is so bad it's good.
Which we played live at our hi-fi.
We did,
live.
yeah.
My one is going to be speakers as well. My next one.
Yeah.
Love the Kerr Acoustics, which we reviewed. Really fantastic. We were fortunate enough to have good old Jez Kerr on the sofa with us at your house.
Yep.
He was on top form. As always, speaking very eloquently, very knowledgeably. I'm sure Jez has actually found the secret to eternal youth, because his knowledge of everything, hi-fi music, everything, is way beyond his years. And obviously he's also an amazing speaker designer.
Yeah, the K200 is the speaker we did. It's a very big banger, isn't it? It's a massive thing.
One of our comments was, if I win the lottery, I'll buy a pair, and I echo that. If I win the lottery, I'll buy a pair as well.
Yeah.
So
I remember at my house, we had a very enjoyable listening session playing
Phenomenal
Police Officer by Smiley Culture.
Yeah, and Beatmasters and stuff like that, wasn't it?
And my listening room developed a number of cracks in the plaster. I seem to remember after Smiley Culture. But
actually, that was probably the only song Jez hadn't heard. He's now got it on 12-inch. So that was a great riff. Loved that. Yeah. That was a bit different for us as well, but Jez carried it for us. Yep. So thanks, mate. You were great.
Yeah.
What's your next one?
Right. Well, I think it's got to be the Technics SL10 turntable.
Yeah, nice.
So one of the nicest parts of reviewing that was when I opened it up, it smashed me in the face. And
that was brilliant.
So, yes, and that's exactly what you did. Yeah, thank you, Mike.
Oh, just fantastic. Fantastic. And you said it was the springs on it were better than your tailgate on your car.
Yes.
Which is probably very true.
Yes.
But very cool. And somebody called it a toasted sandwich maker in the comments, which I loved as well.
Yep.
But it was the future that never happened, wasn't it?
It was, because it was, if it had come out 5 years earlier, then, every Japanese manufacturer would have had a kind of copy of it within a year or two, and it would have really kind of got going, and it would have allowed sort of vinyl to live on, as it were, a bit longer, I think, before CD really took over. But an amazing turntable. 1979, I think it was announced. I think it got to the UK in 1980, and by 81, 82, we were seeing pictures of CD players in magazines, and
and buying them as well.
Yeah, it was kind of game over. I think
it was that Tomorrow's World episode, wasn't it, that killed it off? It really was.
And I think
the one where they spread jam on it and reckoned it played. Right. But
I think the CD came out in Japan, in Tokyo, about September 82, and then the UK got it early 83.
Sure.
It was Goodnight Vienna for the SL10 and its ilk.
Such a shame.
An inspired deck.
It was fantastic. It was a great riff, actually. Yes. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. There's some really good comments on that riff as well.
Have you got one on your save search on eBay?
Do you know, I actually haven't. Because I'm hoping that someone's going to fit a cartridge to my my name arrow at some point and get me up and running with my limb. So, not mentioning any names.
Who's that then?
David Price, not mentioning any names. Mine was my retro riff, which I really enjoyed as well. I loved the one we did on the Wharfedale Chevins. That was really cool. They were so quirky, weren't they? And do you remember we played? We found that because what year were they? Were they
77?
They were 77, and we found they only worked well with music from 1977, didn't they? So Saturday Night Fever and things like that.
We were playing Saturday Night Fever and stuff like that. Yeah, 77, 78. And very little, tiny little Wharfedale single drive unit.
Very simple, wasn't
yeah,
it? But they were really beguiling, weren't they? I mean, they weren't really proper hi-fi, but they had something amazing about them, didn't they? Which was great fun. They were foot tapping.
Well, I've heard a lot worse sound from your hi-fi systems, Mike, before you get too uppity about my Chevids. So,
that really hurt. That really, really hurt. Okay.
No, I think they're great speakers, but you know, a niche pastime.
Go on then, move on. What's next?
All right.
What's next on our awards? So,
I think for me it's the Sim Audio Moon 250i V2 integrated amp, and that is I think it's a couple of £1,000 roughly. It's a new, still on sale, modern amp. You know, we've been talking about lots of classic stuff, but actually this is one of the very best at the price in terms of integrated amps. And it's it's an interesting one. It's a Class AB amp. It's about 50 watts RMS per channel, but it's quite muscular in the way that it delivers that power. And it's built like a brick outhouse.
Yes.
In Canada, in the land of Geddy and Alex.
Exactly.
And beautifully built. And
they'd approve of the moon.
They would, yeah. And it's a classy bit of kit, and one I think that gets overlooked in the UK, where we're all thinking names and Cyruses and, you know, all of the sort of Arkhams and all the rest of it. It's not a mainstream name, but it kind of should be. It's a really good amp, I think. And
Okay. Yeah, I liked it. We really liked it. Never heard them before, but loved it. Yeah. My next one is going to be a total mistake, and I definitely shouldn't have had put this on my list. But I'm going to choose my very own quad electrostatic ELS 63s. God knows why, because
just in the room.
Yes, they are indeed.
Are they working again?
They are at the moment. Right. They are at the moment. There's a guy called Alan who lives in Bicester who makes them work for me. I paid his mortgage off now. So
I heard he was moving to Florida.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, he's bought a yacht. Yeah.
Alan from Bicester, thank you very much for getting Mike's shonky old quad electrostatics going.
He does an amazing job. For the love of God, don't buy a pair of quad electrostatics. Yes. It's my best advice. But the annoying thing is, when you do, they do something which other speakers don't do. They just are.
They play the music without the bass.
Right, I'm moving on already. What's your final one here?
So, all right.
It's so mean to me.
Well.
No. Well, what's your final one?
I'm afraid come on. Ever since you started laughing when that Technics hit me in the face, it was like an industrial accident, basically, and it really hurt my conch. And you just lost it completely.
It was brilliant.
So well, it wasn't brilliant for me. So I'm, all my pretense of nicety now, Mike, has now gone. It's now war. I'm sorry. So the Acoustic Energy Corinium speakers.
They were great.
They were
really good, actually. Really like those. A tough marketplace on that price point, because there's some stiff competition there. But no, they were very impressive, weren't they?
Yes, very impressive. I think they're about £6,000. Yes. And they're basically Acoustic Energy's basically flagship speaker, a large and very thin kind of tower type speakers. Yeah, beautifully built, absolutely fantastic build quality. I've seen stuff at 10 grand that looks less well made.
Sure.
And some very nice drive units, and just been voiced really well. Yeah. They've got a deep kind of dark sound. They're not kind of shouty and honky and screamy like a lot of modern speakers are.
No, the AE guys do a really good job, actually.
Brilliant job. I think it's one of the best products of the year.
Yes, excellent.
Certainly up there with with only another one or two really, really quality product, I think.
Yeah, and I think one of those for me was I really liked the way the Falcon Acoustics team had reinvented the LS35As. I thought they were very, very stylish, very classy. All LS35As should sound exactly the same. They don't. this was the best incarnation I'd ever heard.
Yeah.
And I know what you're going to say, oh, another speaker without any bass, but actually I don't agree at all. I think for their tiny little package, they had a great bass response.
Well, to me, they kind of reminded me of the original Lid cans.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
That in a good way. You know, they're very tight and taut, and they don't have much bass, but it is what it is very kind of grippy and sinewy.
I really missed those when they went. I found them really good to listen to, really fun to listen to. You know, great product.
And you can use them in a small space and whack the volume up. And not worry about neighbours or anything.
No, exactly. They were really superb. Imaged beautifully. They kind of disappeared, you know, when you turned them up. It was just
really
fantastic.
Good. Quick, fast transients. So surprisingly modern sounding LS35As. I've heard some much worse, slower, puffier, softer, more, you know, kind of ineffectual ones. But these are like little kind of Rottweilers, really.
They're just brilliant. And do you know, I'd never really heard LS35As sound particularly great for my ears before, and these just revolutionised it.
Well, you got used to no bass having the quads.
Thank you. Right, let's move on. I'm going to let you do this, but we both agree unanimously on our product of the year.
Yeah.
And our product of the year, I think, is an absolute belter.
Yeah.
So would you like to tell our lovely hi-fi riff-raff what the unanimous Mike and Dave's hi-fi riff product of the year is?
Yes, I would.
Good. Shall I do it then?
No, I just said I'd like to. So, okay. It's the Cambridge Audio CXN V2 streamer. And it was actually the first thing we reviewed in this new year, I think.
It was.
And since then, they've brought out the AX10 and I think it's the AXN and MXN10 streamers, which are basically very similar things, but cheaper in kind of less fancy packaging, basically.
Yes,
But the sort of, as it were, kernel of the, you know, of the machine is the same.
The Colonel Abraham of the machine.
You mean the Father Abraham?
Father Abraham. Colonel Abraham.
So yes, as I was saying before, I was.
Don't say
it. So I mean, basically, the CXN 10 V2 is £800, and it's got a nice little screen. It's got very good sound quality. And the superb Stream Magic app, and it just covers all the bases. If you want a kind of, you know, upper budget level kind of streamer, that's a brilliant one to get. Streaming is everything now. Everyone's, you know, going on about it. In just over a week's time after this comes out, the BPI, the British Phonographic Institute, will have the new stats for sales of different media types and so on. And every year, you know, the streaming goes up by a large percentage and CD sales go down and so on.
Yeah.
Streaming is really important now. And if you want a really good kind of entry-level streamer, for me, that's it. It hits the spot perfectly. And indeed, the newer and cheaper ones from Cambridge Audio do too. And that app is a great reason why.
They've chucked a pebble in the pond here in the streaming world, and I think if you've just spent $2,000 on a streamer, the last thing you want to do is go and listen to that Cambridge streamer because it's so well up there. You know, it's 90% of a $2,000 streamer, isn't it? It's just fantastic value for money.
Yeah.
And I'd say don't see that lightly, because £700 is still a lot of cash to drop, but you get so much quality for that £700, and it does everything so well. Just a fantastic product, and it's interesting that we're quite unanimous on that. It makes a change, doesn't it? So, and it's a streamer.
Yes, because normally you're wrong.
Normally you're talking about vinyl or cartridges or arms or something. So, but there we go. That's how cool this product is. So excellent. Look, that's been a good year, hasn't it? It's been a belting year. So we've gone from literally our first product we reviewed has become our product of the year. So well done, Cambridge Audio. Done a cracking job.
We'd like to thank everyone for watching.
Oh gosh, 600,000 views just under. Phenomenal.
You know, I mean, God, there must be some really bored people with nothing better to do.
Like us, Luke. Yes, exactly.
Outside. And, you know, and thank you for all the comments and everything, and some very nice people kind of giving us some moral support.
And a hard time sometimes.
Yes, and a hard time at other times. And because we are both very busy people. We have very, very busy day jobs, obviously.
I do.
Yes, Mike. Yes, I just sit around doing nothing all day. So this is a kind of passion project, really, isn't it? I find
Totally. And we're hoping to do a few things next year. Justin Bird's invited us to do another Riff Live, which is very nice of him. We'll hopefully get to Munich again with a bit of luck.
Well, definitely we'll be at Munich. And
what's been lovely going to a couple of the hi-fi shows, I've had people come and have a chat to us, have a beer with us in the bar. It's just been a pleasure to get to know some of the people out there. So amazing.
Yes.
So thank you all so much. Very Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, mate.
Cheers.
Thank you for my Smurf album.
I knew you'd like it.
And on that note,
and on that bombshell,
thank you very much, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Stay safe, stay well.
Cheers. Bye.